Hi parents and caregivers. For this week, we will be reading Polar Bear, What Do You Hear? By Bill Martin Jr. with pictures by Eric Carle. So for the first craft, this is for your child's first session, or for some of my families, your child's only session for the week with me. We will be making these paper plate polar bears. I got the idea from Pinterest. From A Dab of Glue Will Do. So you will need a paper plate, a full paper plate. You're going to cut a triangle, almost like a slice of pizza, from the paper plate. And then, you know how like when you cut it, this end is really pointy? You're gonna wanna cut the tips of those off. And then you will also need another piece of paper to do the polar bear's head, face, tail, and then something to decorate, like to make the claws and the face with. So I wrote everything down on the piece of paper that I will be emailing to you for everything you need. If your child has a second session with me, we will be making these hand print polar bears. So you'll need construction paper, white paper to make the polar bear, and the polar bear's head. Now, as you can see, I have long fingers. Your child's fingers are not going to be this long. It'll look shorter and look more like a real polar bear. I know this is kind of a leggy polar bear. And then, as you can see, I decorated it with some snowflakes and things to make it look like he's floating on ice. And I think I drew some things to make it look like there was water. Okay. And if you have a third visit with me, we will be making white paint polar bears. Have a piece of construction paper and then just kind of draw the outline of a polar bear's head. And then your child will use either a sponge or a cotton ball to dip into the white paint and then dot it on the paper to give it a little texture. I used a sponge. If you're going to use a sponge like me, make sure it's wet before your child dips it into the paint. Otherwise, the dry sponge will soak up the paint. So get it wet, squeeze all the excess water out, and then dip it in the paint. So as usual, I will email you the list and everything that you need. And the person who I got the idea from on Pinterest, A Dab of Glue Will Do, Fun Activities for Kids was the handprint polar bear, and Crafts on Sea was the white paint polar bear. I will have all the things that you need. Just have those things ready to go, and then your child will assemble the craft during the session while we target their speech and language goals. If you have any questions for me, please call, email, or text. See you soon. Bye-bye.